Let's get ready to rumble. We are live. And oh my god, look at the amount of comments already. And the dog's kicking about. In the background, even better, evening troops. How are you all doing tonight? My throat is a little bit better. I have been drinking quite a bit of Huntiers today, haven't we all? Let me just check this. There's 29 people on. Hail from Germany. Germany's in the house. My throat is still killing me from the pub yesterday. So the big news is today. I'll get through some comments first. Let's do the comments first of all, and then we'll talk about some Celtic news and stuff. Paul Imrie was first in. Hail troops. Lanky then came in. Evening troops. Hope you're all good. Paul Imrie. Their pain is our pleasure. Evening Lanky. Has Bill been sacked yet? It says Lanky. Oh, he's not. Let's get some banners up. I'll go with the Hoops merch one tonight. Celtic fans view live actually. That'll do it. And after Lanky, the comments have jumped up. Kevin's in, Patrick Toner's in, Tempest is in, Paul Imrie. Lanky says, well done, Baz, on reaching 13,000 subs. It's a bit more than 13,000. I've got to say, off to the Celtic fans, I'm going to set a new target of 15,000 before we play them the next time. Lorna says, well done. Paul Imrie says, it's a zombie-free house tonight. They'll be watching Super Scoreboard for the Meltdown. Tam Max in the house, Graham Hardy's in the house, Lorna. We're all magic. Baz, he'll hear from England. Baz, don't mention booze. I am not drinking any alcohol tonight. I have been on tears all day. It's Fanta Lemon. Diet Fanta Lemon. Paul Baird's in the house. Ryan's in the house. Edward's in the house. William's in the house. Something Days in the house. Diane's in the house. Tam Max in the house. I've got a bit of egg stuck in my tooth. James Dillon's in his Diane's in the house. Well done on the 13K. So this morning I did something that I don't usually ask to do. I never usually ask to get subscribers, but I wanted to just rub salt in the wounds and show that the channel can do special things. And today it did. Today it did something really special. It crossed the 13,000 mark. And the current subscribers, I'm going to do it this way, are currently... Oh, wait a minute, I just pressed the screen. Every time I do it, I press the screen. So I put that in front of it. And then you can't see a lot of the analytics and give away some vital data. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Trust me. We're at 13,129, which means we've had over 140 new subscribers just today. If I do that, that'll show you. That is absolutely amazing. Evening Baz, 6 p.m. Cut off tonight, the Meltdown, mate. Yeah, I'll probably cut off so you can go off and watch the absolute meltdown that's probably about to happen on, and they are on live on YouTube. So I think I might jump over to YouTube and they do a live chat on it, don't they? When it's on YouTube. And let's go on and have some fun. I think I'll even post on it myself. So yeah, Chris Boyd, yeah, Ali McCoy, all in Meltdown today. Bad you said Brendan wasn't here to retire. I hope he is. I said he wasn't here to retire. I did say that he'll be here for the 3 years. I did say that. He will not walk away. I can guarantee you that. He will not walk away within the 3-year period. Well done on the 13K, Samak. I subbed for Super Scoreboard earlier tonight. Right, I'm going to do it right now. 2 seconds, because then once we've done this, we'll finish this. We'll do a 45-minute stint one. And then we'll all jump on Super Scoreboard. Super Scoreboard. We'll give them the subscribers just for the night. Oh, they're at 10,000 subs. Well done to them. Well done to them at getting 10,000 subscribe so that we can get onto the live chat later. live. Have they got it scheduled? No. Right, I take it they will be going live at 6 o'clock. I wouldn't usually subscribe to that channel, but I think I'm only 13,100 behind you. Port Shop Express, it is a lot of hard work. I've got 14 on my only 14,000 on my OnlyFans. 10,000 rages. No, that would be minus 10,000 if that was happening. I've got 14,000 on OnlyFans. I bet you have to. Do you know that I got hacked and they all got leaked? OnlyFans got hacked. Knew that was going to happen. Yeah, we're all going to jump on. We'll run this for 45 minutes, so I better get a move on. They even called Barry Ferguson a cheerleader for Celtic. I'm playing a whack at Mole. Gubbed them with 2 reserve centre halves. Yes, we did. Right. Let's get some Celtic news, and we're 6 minutes in. Thank you to everyone that subscribed today. You've been absolutely amazing. Do a quick update. And we've just lost one. We've just lost a subscriber. Anyway, who cares? Who cares? It's probably a zombie that just got a notification that we're live. And he's a bit scared. Come on. What's happening? What have I just missed? Stuart, you've not missed anything. Not missed anything. If anything, we've had over 140 new subscribers today, so we're sitting at 13,128, which is fantastic. My next target is 15,000 before we play them in December. We're not going to get that. If I hit 14,000, I'll be happy, but my target is 15,000. Let's do it. Right, news. Former EPL ref weighs in on the Rangers-Celtic debate and says he got it absolutely correct. Rangers are still in meltdown, saying that Gustav went down too easy. Said the VAR ref and Don Robertson initially allowed played on, but Celtic were awarded a free kick after being called to his monitor. The decision to deny Rangers a penalty, just like we denied Rangers coming into the league, just like we denied that they went into liquidation, just like we denied that they died in 2012, just like we denied that they never paid the face painter, just like we denied that they never paid the big tax bill that was then subsequently reduced slightly, but they still would have went into liquidation and died. And just like we don't deny that they are zombies. That is it. Okay, they are zombies. But a former referee down in England says that the referee got it absolutely right. Absolutely right. And Gallagher told Sky Sports, he says, I think the referee has got it absolutely correct on the pitch. I don't think it's a foul. I think Dressers gets in front of him. He gets in front and committed no foul at that point. But with the introduction to VAR, he said it looks as if he pushes him. And it shows you in the thumbnail that I've put up. Yeah, I can actually see it's a definite foul because he's got his hand on his shoulder and he puts a foot in front of him. Right? People could complain that it's certainly not a foul. However, Bobby Madden agreed and said on Instagram, the defender's in control. The defender's action is to play the ball with his left foot. That is the important part. The attacker has not played the ball. At that point, he puts his foot in between the ball and the defender. It's a foul anywhere on the pitch. No matter what happens after that, after the attack played, the ball before the contact is fine. It says, but VAR, when you have all the angles, you cannot allow a goal when you have that evidence. When you have that evidence, and we've all seen it, we've all seen the evidence is in the thumbnail. The evidence is in the thumbnail for the video. And make sure that you share this video wide and far for the next 25 minutes or so, however long we're online, and get as many people onto the chat as possible. Because let's face it, it was Dermot Gallagher for football for 50 years. Plus, he had his Hun. He is a Hun, but he said that it was a foul. He's an absolute, and this is what I was talking about in this morning's video. The fact that you get this nonsensical thing, nonsensical. That's even a thing. It's pure nonsense, right? That they have to get ex-referees now, and they get ex-players to come in and be pundits. Now, if you ask me, an ex-player should not be a pundit because an ex-player is one of the most. Let's face it, most players will go down easy, and a player. I mean, look at McCoist. McCoist went down more quick. He went down quicker than what was her that was on the telly that he done. Let's not talk about them. Let's all laugh at Rangers. Let's move on. So there's also, remember the striker that Celtic put in a £3.5 million bid for, and it was rejected by Brøndby. Huntiers. My second pint of Huntiers today. Anyway, the Brøndby striker admitted that he would have liked to have went to Celtic, but he left it down to his agent and the club. 21-year-old striker was a valid attacking option for Celtic, especially since the likes of was injured at the time. And let's face it, if anything happens to Kyogo, we are short on that front. The Dane was subject to an official £3.5 million approach from Celtic, but his club Brøndby booted that fee into touch. They were holding it for nearer £6 million. You've got to remember, Celtic went in with a lower bid than that to start with. The end bid was £3.5 million. Celtic were trying to get him far too cheap. Celtic walked away from the deal, and then that was that. Will he be a striker in years to come that we'll look back on and say, we should have went for him for that. We should have paid the £6 million. We should have paid the £6 million. But the club walked away from it, and we move on. We'll have to be happy with, Brendan said, Tam, is it true about 20 unboxing? When you look at the pictures, there's definitely been something going on. And then fighting broke out is outside Ibrox as well, yeah. Barbie can't win. Barbie can't go down that easy. Andy Walker on Go Radio saying it wasn't a foul. Andy Walker's the biggest clown in Scottish football. He's never got anything good to say about Celtic. He never has. And this is what I mean about ex-players that played the game years ago should not be commentating on football. And I'm going to tell you why, because anyone that should be commentating on football is somebody that watches nearly every single game, or somebody that looks into the analytics of coaching. No player, none of these pundits, even McCoy's tried his arm at being a manager, and McCoy's failed at being a manager. That gives him no right, because tactically he's inept. McCoy has proven many times, right, that he's inept as a tactician, as a manager. And all these pundits are basically, they're nowhere near being even a pinky nail as good a tactician as what Brendan Rodgers is. Yet they could sit in the media and they can sit and slag people, and they're getting paid handsomely. And you're going to get me on a rant tonight. This is another thing about ex-players. And we all like to get them at our dances and everything else, but everything comes down to money. And I was told this from somebody that does a lot of bookings with players, because I did try to get someone onto this YouTube channel. And he said it'll never happen because it always comes down to money. It's all down to money with ex-players. They only do anything when it comes to the supporters as long as they're getting paid for it. Fair enough, they're retired. They're not good to go into football management, and they've got to make a living somehow. But some of the punditry in Scottish football is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, the fact that Celtic wouldn't pay £6 million for the Brøndby striker is disappointing, but is he going to be one of these players? We went to £3.5 million. The players, Andy Walker, still a Celtic baz. I don't know. I don't think he is. Personally. Anyway, let's talk about the Brøndby striker again. He has come in and said all he wants to do now is focus on working hard for Brøndby after leaving the transfer chat to his club and his representatives. I think his representatives wanted to make the deal happen, but Celtic wouldn't meet Brøndby's fee. And you just know, when we look back at the history of players, that Celtic, McGinn for one. When you look at McGinn and what we could have got him for, and then Lawwell phones him when he knew McGinn was on the way down. He's on his way down the motorway. He drove over the border heading south, and Lawwell phones and says, we'll meet the wages. And he's like, nah, I've already promised him. Lanky says, here we'll use a video called Anyone But Celtic. It's definitely what to watch. So it's Anyone But Celtic is a documentary by Paul Larkin. It is on YouTube now, and it's been on YouTube for a few years. But if you want to watch a good piece of factual, real journalism, right, you go and watch this documentary. He interviews players, ex-players. I think he interviewed Jackie McNamara, Peter Grant. I'm not sure who else. It's been 4 years since I watched it. But if you go and watch this documentary at some point, and what I'll do is I'll also put a link to it in the community tab at some point over the next day or so. But go and watch it, and it'll show you exactly what Scottish football is all about. We missed it in McGinn way back then. Yes, and I just hope we don't do the same with young Matthias. You know, we could have got him for 6 million. If he goes on to then become a 20, 30 million pound player and playing down in England or something, we missed a trick big time. Bielma's stay. I see. Here's the thing. This is totally off subject. I seen Cantwell was spotted in Glasgow Airport doing a runner. What happened to them getting them into training and sorting things out over the next week? Beale talks a load of nonsense. He knew the players were all going on holiday. Brilliant documentary. Every supporter should watch it. Yes, it is. It is a brilliant documentary, and I think it's about an hour long. I think I can't remember. But every fan should watch it. And if you don't know about Paul Larkin, you're missing a trick. He comes under the same as what old Davy Potter did. Davy Potter, the Celtic historian, he knew. I mean, Paul, when he started doing his writing, he hit up old Davy Potter and asked him a good few questions, and he got him help started. Anyway, Gretna is in the house. Eki boy, hail from Gretna. Scales needs a running left back to see what he can do. Is he a natural left back, though? Is he a natural left back? You'd only worry with that is anyway, but that's for another day. Craig White's book Into the Pit Bear also exposed the corruption at Ibrox, the secret meetings, handshakes behind closed doors, ignored by the Scottish media. We all know it. Bill scurrying up the tunnel at full time really did show the character of the man. Right, talking about characters of men, we need to talk about Fergus McCann, because Fergus McCann was at the game yesterday, and it was absolutely fantastic to see Fergus at 81-year-old sitting in the main stand beside the Celtic hierarchy. He is over as he is the main focus of the Celtic story, which is a show that is all about the performance, which details the 5 years at his helm. Now, as fans, we've all got Fergus is a legend, and there are people who, to this day, are still aggrieved. That fan is just blowing dust everywhere tonight. We had a dust storm last night. A lot of people some people are still aggrieved that Fergus got booed when we unfurled the flag after stopping the 10. But you have to remember that the reason that he got booed was the fact that Wim Jansen basically handed in his notice within a couple of days of winning the league. And it was never really fully explained why Wim Jansen came into Celtic, did what he did for that year, and then walked away. Fergus did lay the foundations for where we are today, and it's absolutely fantastic that he was at that game yesterday. And hats off to Fergus. I mean, Fergus came in, and you've got to remember, Fergus handed over 5 million to the bank before he owned one share in Celtic. And a bit of a grievance to me is that Michael Kelly used to boast about the fact that he got 180 grand off of Fergus for his shares. The good old Kellys, even though Fergus came in and paid what he did to the bank, he then had to go and purchase the shares from them. Anyway, and Michael Kelly was a big no voter, a big Labour no voter. As if I've not got enough Tories on the board, he was a Labour no voter, and I had many an argument with him years ago because I had him on Facebook for a while. Oh, a long, long time ago. Anyway, let's move on from Beale's gaslighting has been exposed. We lived in the house that Fergus built. Did that good evening from Gibraltar? That's what years is worth a watch. Also, yes, that's a fantastic one. All Paul Larkin's documentaries are all fantastic. Feyenoord here living in Holland. The cheapest tickets, the Celtic match. What was that? It's going to be €135. That's the same. It was the same in Madrid last year. The Champions League's just getting all about money. All about money. Get Fergus back to paradise where we can all thank him again. He was back a few seasons ago, 2019. 2019, he was back at Celtic Park. And he sat, and then came around and he sat in the Club Celtic Lounge, the opposite end of the stadium from the main stand. And he was sitting next to one of my mates, and he was totally. He hardly watched the game. He just sat gazing at Fergus, nearly 40-year-old, and he just sat there starstruck the whole game, looking at Fergus. Anyway, stop watching the vids of the hostile snake pit. Full time, I can't. I know it is. It was absolutely hilarious. Right, the Celtics, they are Scotland's shame. Let's talk about the board and the fact that Fergus McCann, without his intervention, without that, well, Celtic would exist. They would exist. There was never any chance of us going into liquidation. Forget what the media said at the time. There was no chance of us actually going into liquidation. Got to remember at the time, Celtic board wanted to move us out to Cumberslang. They were going to sell the ground. They were going to sell the ground and move us out to Cumberslang. What an absolute shit show that would have been. But he sat there and he looked healthy, and he looked just the same as Fergus did all those years ago. He probably missed some of the chants and some of the songs for the Celtic supporters, but he was there with the board members, and he witnessed Celtic winning at Ibrox with no fans. He witnessed Celtic team playing absolutely fantastic for the. And Celtic just put an email actually, and it's the stats from the weekend, which are quite surprising because I never looked at the stats after half time. The email. So the stats come the end of the game was actually the possession was 50% to 50%. That shows you how good they played the second half, because we had 75% possession in the second half. They had 17 shots. We had 7 shots. They had 3 on target. We had 5 on target. They had 6 corners. We had 2 corners in the whole game. They had 15 fouls, and we had 15 fouls. That's sent out by Celtic just on the match. So if you're on Celtic's mailing list, you would have got that email also. And then some of the pictures. The best video of the day. I never seen Fergus was on Sky. I'm not sure. I got sent a link to it. I got sent a picture. Chill pill. The best bit of the videos from yesterday was Big Ralston. Yep, Lorna, get everyone to hit the thumbs up. 434 people online, and my throat, we've only got 100 thumbs up. And we're all getting ready to go on to Super Scoreboard straight after this video. My throat is still killing me. What was I talking about? Where are we? I've totally lost what I was talking about now. I've got 5 different screens open. Neil McCann's been at it as well. What was I talking about? Talking about Fergus, wasn't I? What's DJ Singy saying? Give me 2 seconds. Hail, Baz. Barry the Flood's been raging and wanting Bill sacked. I think there's a lot of. Oh, yeah, that was it. Ralston. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Cheers for that, Lanky. Ralston. The best part of yesterday was when Celtic put out the thing on social media and Ralston. And it showed you all the players walking down high-fiving, and Ralston's like, yes, yeah, love it, yes. That was absolutely brilliant. Am I on the Bucky? Nope, I am on Huntiers. It's Fanta Lemon. No drinking, it's a school night. No drinking, it's a school night. Old age must be a It is. It is. It is that. Do you know what it is? It's the fact that we hit all the subscribers today. So big Ralston in that video. It was absolutely brilliant. Celtic and now, and I did tell you this would happen after we employed the guy from Apple because he is an absolute wizard with everything that's pay-per-view. And watch Celtic ramp things up with the online content in the next month or so. Lanky, I seen that legend that is Kaiser, also outside the ground yesterday, trying to get Kalmack to give away his boxers to a female fan. Lanky, what goes on in your head, mate? Do you know what I mean? What goes on in your head to ask the captain for his kegs for a fan because he wouldn't give away his training top? Anyway, there's 400 odd people online. Get the thumbs up. When it comes to Celtic news, Neil McCann has also been having a rant. They are in meltdown. Do you know what? They're going to force the guy out the door. You can see it because they forced the board to make sure that we got a reduced allocation, right? It was the fans club 1872 or whatever club it is. They forced the club to reduce the allocation. They're now going to Lanky. It's old age kicking in. No, I was talking about Kaiser. Lanky. It's when your name came up, you reminded me about Kaiser, and Kaiser was running about outside Celtic, outside Ibrox last night after the game. Lanky. I'm not even replying to that one. Go on, it's brilliant performance. Right, tell me the meltdown is latest, and we are going to be jumping over to Snide FM on YouTube, and there's quite a few of us subscribed, so we're going to jump onto that just for the pure banter, and we're going to totally flood the live chat. Who's Kaiser? He's in the chat. He's on Twitter, and he stood outside. He stays near Ibrox Stadium. And he went to the ground after the game yesterday, and there was one of them. He was actually, I don't know if he was standing with a Celtic top on or not, but a few of them were saying that he was dodgy and everything. Anyway, if it's Chris, you can keep them, Donny. You are just not right in the head. Neil McCann. Let's talk about Neil McCann. McCann. Can't even talk to him. My throat is still killing me. Kyogo. The fact that Kalmack says that Kyogo is the best striker that he's ever played with is Scales does deserve a shout out. When Callum McGregor turns around and says, what do you say about, we'll come to Neil McCann in a minute, but what do you say about Kyogo? What do you say about Kyogo? Because Kyogo is what a player. And you have to say, Matt O'Reilly for that header. Matt O'Reilly for the header yesterday, right? He must have known that Kyogo was right on the back line. We've all been screaming for Brendan to put Kyogo up against the back line. Hi, Martin. And he did. When the Rangers defender hits it back out after Joe Hart kicks it out, you then get the Celtic player, O'Reilly, that's been getting stick, and a lot of people sell him for 10 million. People were actually saying that, sell him for 10 million. I think he's just repaid the fact that we didn't sell him for 10 million with the header that put Kyogo in for the goal. Kyogo is the best traditional striker Celtic have had since Larsson. I pretty much agree with that. He's got a bit of a way to go yet to score the goals that the likes of Griffiths scored. But I think he will. 10 million for what boot? 10 million for what boot? His left one. It would have been a scene like a cute or ugly. Yep. Listening to Go Radio today, yesterday, I was killing myself. The wee by, going on about Ferguson. Yeah. I got sent that. And what the guy that was going absolutely nuts at him. Right, there's 484 of you absolute superstars online. 152 thumbs up. 501 now it's saying. Right, Neil McCann, let's get back to him. because Neil McCann has been going off on one, a bit like the rest of them today. Neil McCann said, he says, I think it should stand. It should stand, even though when you look at all the replays and when you look at VAR, he says, I want to direct you to Lagerbelt and Callum McGregor's reaction. They're not looking at the referee. Callum McGregor's turning away in disgust. He continued, I know we're going to see another angle in slow motion where Jesus gets in front. The law would suggest if you stop a player at forward motion, the kick, it's a foul. I would disagree with that. How can you disagree with the laws of the game? You absolute idiot. To think that your family were brought up on the right side of the... Anyway, and your family were all Celtic fans. And Neil McCann used to be a Celtic fan when he was younger. But Neil McCann was a Celtic fan and his family were all Celtic fans. And this comes from an ex Hamilton player and an ex. He also played for Hearts in his early days in the late 80s. Anyway, Rangers have since decided to lodge a formal complaint about the ruling and said that VAR has to be correctly applied. We need to clarify the decision and it needs to be consistent with the rule book. The meltdown is unbelievable. They're now going to make... Rangers are now going to make a complaint. Rangers are now going to make a complaint to the SFA. This is the same SFA that allowed them to come in on the bottom tier of Scottish football and not have to start all over and work their way up. They're going to go to the same SFA that turned a blind eye to them not putting in the correct accounts and allowing them to participate in European football. Yeah, that's going to go down well. Anyway, Celtic goal was given. If that Celtic goal, if it was at Celtic, yeah. Boys losing the banter, those. What would they know about playing rules? Yes, exactly. What would they know about playing rules? And they're trying to play the rule card. Anyway. Remember that time that they all marched to the SFA? They all marched to Hampden. Remember the march for Ibrox to Hampden and demonstration about the fact that they were put down. They weren't put down. They were liquidized. They were liquidized and they all marched to... I wonder if they're going to do that again. There's been a lot of chat from them also about the fact that Taylor should be replaced by... There's a lot of people saying that Taylor should be replaced by Scales, but it's not Scales' position that he's played in. Do you know, he never played in it for Aberdeen, did he? R.I.P. the Rangers, yes. Rest in peace. If you look at their history book, it was a foul. Yep, if you look at their history book. Anyway, the deeds, what's the deeds? The big house must stay open. The big house. And that tiffo, did you see the one where it's actually the new king and Jimmy Savile? It's the King Charlie with Jimmy Savile on his shoulders. This has to be the march to Hampden, and it was shut. That's right, Paul. The march to Hampden. It's closed. There was nobody in it, and then they done the same with the BBC, did they not? The march to the BBC, and there was nobody in. It was a Saturday afternoon. Oh, that tiffo. And that was paid by the club, by the way. There's nowhere, because if you look at every single one that the Union Bears have done over the years, right, you cannot make it a word, right? The fact that they got ropes up onto the roof of the stadium, that was done by the club. That was done by the club. And the fact that, let me see if I can find it. 2 seconds. I have to show you this, because if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely hilarious. And then you know that there's going to be ones that'll go, that's poor taste and everything, but who cares? They're sexist, Tifo. All my sons will be like me. How's about that then? Anyway, Sexus Tifo. Right. Slaven says, time that we get Rocky, Cameron Carter Vickers, Lager and Scales, it could swap it up a bit. Maybe a back three could solve the McGregor man marking issue. I think that we've already solved that issue. Lanky, you do the paint by numbers. Yeah, the cheapest option, pathetic unit. No, it's look who it is. It's print. It's the King Charles, King Charles, and Jimmy Savile. But remember, the royal family are paying $3 million a year security for a guy that paid somebody else for $10 million. Paddy Powers on Twitter are absolutely hilarious. Also, Scales is good at left back, mate. Gets goals. Seen him in Ireland playing at left back. Why don't Celtic play him there then? Why don't you give him a chance? It's maybe not his favourite position because you've got to remember, Brendan came in, he sat down with all the players and he said, "What is your favourite position?" And then that was why Dyson got a run through the middle. And that didn't work out so well. So I like the one, like all my sons will be like me and boo, boo. Anyway, Ange didn't like him. Yeah, Ange didn't like a lot of players. He had these little special ones. Right, what time is it? It's 36. It is 51. We've got 9 minutes left. Make sure you hit the thumbs up because um, after this, we're all going to jump over to Super Scoreboard. Super Scoreboards, and we're going to invade their chat just purely for the banter. Purely for the banter. I'm still in Eindhoven. Lanky swinging the spanner like me a few years ago offshore. Right, let's see if there's any more Celtic news. Obviously, Neil McCann. Neil McCann's been ranting and raving, saying Rangers are quite within their right. You need to stick to the law. He's contradicting himself because he said that the referee needs to stick to the law. Then when VAR shows him the law and the rules, he then says that they're going to put in a complaint against it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The striker that Celtic could have got for 6 million, we went in with £3.5 million bid. Will we regret that one day? That's a big question. That is a big question. The thing is, it's going to be quiet for the next week or so with international call-ups, but we'll still be doing videos. There still will be videos to be done, and we might do some lives as well, purely for the fact that it gets us all chatting. Right, John Hartson shares an interesting view. John Hartson is always good to talk, and John kind of tells it as it is. A few people have been waxing lyrical about Kyogo Furiashi, and I've got to say, it was a flipping absolutely fantastic goal. But it was viewed on the disallowed goal that be as some interest. Some interest. He was asked about the goal on Gustav, and he gave this assessment on Go Radio. He says, both agreed in the studio it should have been a goal. Interesting. We felt that Lager kicked the back of his calf, which when you look at it, slowed down. When you look at it at real speed, but for me, if that goal goes in, it's a different story. I don't think it is because even if that goal did go in, Celtic were just getting into their stride, right? John Hartson says if that goal did go in, it would have been a different story. But I don't think so. I don't think it would have been a different story. I think Celtic were unlucky yesterday just to win 1-0 as far as I'm concerned. When you look at the one that Kyogo tried to back heel into the net, if he connects with that, we need a code word to spam on scoreboard. Yeah, why don't you just come up with some code word and we can all put in the same code word? Hartson was blurred. Yeah, it probably was. I mean, I'm surprised that Hartson come out with that. But then when you look at it real time, I mean, none of us sitting in a foul. But then when you look at it in slow motion, when you look at the VAR, you look at exactly what VAR, it's a goal. It's a goal all day long. Agent Mo is our best weapon. Agent Mo is our best weapon. Right, that's the code word. Right? Agent Mole is our best weapon. I'm going to show that. So we've all go we've all to go on to Super Scoreboard, right? And we've all going to put in Agent Mole, our best weapon. Agent Mole, our best weapon. Cantwell for prom queen. Yeah, I seen a video of Cantwell sneaking out of Glasgow airport, and someone asked him if he was doing any TikToks today. Hartson was looking at it from. I've just lost one. Liar can't avoid kicking his calf because Dessers put his leg in front of him. Exactly. He puts his leg right in front of him and he planks his leg on the floor because then he's then going forward with his left leg. The code word is boo. Yeah, that's it. That's the code word. That's the code word. Right? That's the code word. This is the code word. Just boo. Just boo. Right? We just keep on booing. We'll see how many boos we can get up on the screen. Let's go, Brendan. Now we're not going to say that. We're not going to say that. There's a mole at Ibrox. There is a mole at Ibrox. Right. So there is. And we're going to super scoreboards, and we've got a couple of minutes yet, and that is what we're all going on to say. Booze. Right. Anyway, Mitre left Tavernier on pieces. He did that. And you don't do it on this channel, you numpties. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's a good one. Got my Humphrey t-shirt today. Brilliant. Fantastic. Where did that comment go? Da, 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 da. Comment moves that fast. Codeword boo. Wait till I find that comment again. Ba, 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 ba. Right, Lanky's jumping up. I've not got enough time to get it up. I've not got enough time to get it up. Let's get off here. We're all practicing the boos. Whoever it was that got the Humphrey t-shirt, I'll get mine on tomorrow. Rangers fans think, if you think yesterday was bad, wait until. Yeah, that's a good one. Fair play to Ecky Boy. He says, if Rangers fans think yesterday was bad with a part-time Celtic team, wait till Cameron Carter-Vickers, Hatate, Rocco, Marco, Palmer, and Bernardo are all fit. And you've got to remember Phillips as well. Phillips will come into that, but Phillips might get the very last game before he goes back to Liverpool, but we'll see. They'll all be fit in front of 60,000 fans at Celtic Park, and we'll give them an absolute roasting. We should actually boo them when they come on the park at Celtic Park. That'll be. Are you getting the next vaccines that's been ordered? What are you talking about? He's getting the next vaccines that's been ordered. No time for that nonsense on this channel. And they're actually ordering vaccines in the UK. Oh, well, there you go. For what? For Beals Mole. Right, let's see if scoreboard are about to start. It's been fantastic. I asked you to get me to 13,000 subscribers today. You Celtic fans are absolutely amazing. You did it in numbers, and we're currently sitting at 13,000. What an amazing fan base. What an amazing fan base. Let's just do this again. We'll show you that. We're currently sitting at 13,146. There. So thank you to everyone that subscribed today. The next target has to be 15,000 before we play them in December. We've got a few months to do that, so let's see. Anyone seen SECC? No, I banned him for the channel ages ago. We tried to come back with a new one, but I just got fed up his nonsense, so I banned him from the channel. So anyway, Rangers were absolute nonsense. Remember, they should have went to Set Savers. Much love, Baz. Boo. We're all jumping over to Snide FM, and we're all going to boo on the comment channels. So on that note, have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans. Let's get ready to boo, to boo, to boo.